What's up guys, welcome back. I know this video is a little late, but I had some personal things come up in my life that I had to tend to, and then all of this hurricane stuff happened and it brought all of the rain, and as you guys know, I can't work on the car when it's raining outside. Also, this is post-hurricane for my area. If you guys are watching this, I hope you and yours are okay and everyone made it through safely. But today, as far as the build goes, I was able to work on the car a little bit before all of the rain came, and I actually got quite a few things done, and the car looks completely different since the last time you guys saw it. So let me walk you through what I did. First and foremost, if you take a look down here, you'll see the brand new ATI super dampener, which looks gorgeous, and I got our crank pulley back on there. And you know, I took the water pump pulley off to have more access to the crank pulley and the balancer when I was doing that whole deal. And when I had the water pump pulley off, I was looking at the water pump like, damn, this thing looks kind of crusty. And then I started doing some research on electric water pumps, and I decided to pull the trigger and switch to an electric water pump and give electric water pumps a try, because I have seen them, you know, on builds here and there, and I was always intrigued by them, but a little bit, for whatever reason, just nervous of switching to electric, because mechanical to me just seems like a fail-safe. But I guess, you know, what the heck, let's give it a try. I like the way they look. I like the benefits of them. For instance, if I needed to cool the car down, it was overheating, I could shut the car down while continuing to run the pump and the fans while the car is off, and cool the car that way, which is just one of the benefits of running an electric pump. So check it out. This is the electric water pump that we went with, which is a Summit electric water pump. And I will say it is pretty nice. Installation was fairly straightforward. I am opening the hood now for the first time since I installed it, and I am noticing that the hardware is starting to surface rust, which is obviously not ideal. But I mean, besides that, first look is that it is a decent unit for the price. I'm pretty stoked with this for 160 bucks compared to, like I said, $550, $600. You really can't beat it. It looks great. As I said already, installation was fairly simple, and now we have an electric water pump on the car. So, you guys up real quick, we got the ATI super dampener on Miss Parker. We also installed the Summit Racing electric water pump, which is rad and completely transformed the way the front end of the engine looks on the car. I mean, like, look at that. Official. This is proper, boys. We are starting to look proper. While I was getting the water pump swapped out, I had the alternator off the car, and I was looking at it and I was like, man, this alternator has seen better days. So I ordered a new alternator, and of course, you know, I had to order a black one. Also ordered a new alternator mounting kit. So this is the Moroso alternator mounting bracket, or kit, however you want to call it. And it allows you to mount the alternator a lot lower, either side. I could have done driver or passenger side, and I chose the driver side. One, obviously there's a lot more going on the passenger side. Two, I tried to mount it on the passenger side just because all of our wiring is already routed there. And before, it used to sit up here in this little pocket, and it lowers the alternator just enough where it was running into this crossover pipe for the hot side of the turbo kit, and I just couldn't run it on the passenger side. So I decided to move it over to the driver's side. It looks a little bit more balanced overall, and yeah, it worked out well. The only thing is that the bracket down here at the bottom, if you guys can see, let me see if I can get it to focus for you guys, just because of where it ends up, it is slightly pushing into the top part of our radiator hose down here at the bottom. It's not pushing into it a lot, but it is up against it there, so I'm gonna have to monitor that and make sure that it doesn't rip through that and we have a water leak down here at the bottom. But that is the only fitment issue that we had with this whole deal, but that is the only option we had, because like I said, I couldn't run it on the passenger side. It was running into that crossover pipe, and I couldn't even get it close to where it needed to be to actually mount it up to the car. So this was our only option, and what this allows us to do now at this new location, which is a lot lower than before, is run the belt directly from the alternator to the crank pulley, and that's it. Those will be the only two pulleys in function, and I think it'll look really clean. We'll just have the little belt right there, our electric water pump. The whole deal will look super rad. I think the black alternator and the new black electric water pump look super sick in here. I mean, like, check that out. Miss Parker's looking like something now, boys. So the only downfall to moving the alternator over to the driver's side is now I have to reroute all of the wiring that is already routed on the passenger side of the car, which is a little bit of an inconvenience and a bummer, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. So the first thing I want to do today is get the wiring rerouted. So that's over here now on the driver's side, and we'll be able to wire up the alternator when the time comes. And after we do that, there's a few more things that we have to unbox and get hard mounted to the car. And if we can get all that done today, I'd be super stoked. Also, the weather feels absolutely amazing right now. It's just like kind of overcasty, and there's a little bit of wind blowing, but it's kind of chilly, but not too chilly. It just feels good. So I think today's gonna be a good day. I'm stoked to make some more progress on the build. I'm sick and tired of seeing it down, guys. I want to get her back up and running. So I'm gonna quit talking and we're gonna get to work. All right, check this out. I've been messing with the harness for like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes now. The only thing that's holding us up is the alternator plug right now. As soon as we get that to wiggle through, we should be able to pull the harness out over here on the driver's side. Here we go. And there you have it. So this was the entire section of harness that was coming out on the passenger side of the intake manifold. Now we have it routed to the driver's side, and we just have to get it to all of the appropriate locations. Got that all routed to its new spot. As you can see, I already got the power cable to the battery hooked up. So that just comes through right there, goes down, loops around, and plugs into or connects to the alternator. And then the only thing I got to do is extend all of this additional alternator wiring because it's just not long enough. So, but the new alternator came with a little harness piggyback, so I'll just cut this wire, extend this, get it to plug into where it needs to get plugged in. That'll be all taken care of. The starter cable was also previously routed with this group of wires, so I got that separated and rerouted back down to the starter. So we are looking good. We just have to make some final connections there, but I'll just save that for later. So the next thing we're gonna do is get the new coil installed, which I got right here. So we just gotta pull this guy out. Right there, take a look at that. Gorgeous, but it is way bigger than the one we currently have in the car. So I'm not sure if the bracket that we are currently using is still gonna work. I'm gonna try to get it all to fit up, but I don't know, we'll see here in a second. These guys unplugged. Lost the bolt, we didn't lose the coil. Good work. Yeah, look at the size difference. Well, there you can see it. So I don't know if this bracket will work for us, but we try. We just gotta get this thing removed. As I expected, it doesn't line up. Alright, I got the bracket reinstalled just for mock-up purposes, and if I get the coil and put it in here like that, you know, obviously we don't have enough room to do any of the holes properly, but if I line up just this top left-hand corner hole, there is enough bracket down there. I don't know if you guys can see it on camera. My camera decides to focus. There is enough bracket down there to drill another hole. There's enough material. So I think the game plan is put a bolt through this top left-hand hole here, and then wherever this bottom left-hand hole lines up, drill a hole and put another bolt, and we'll just run 2 bolts in it, not all 4. The previous one was only being held in by 2 bolts as well, and they're not even bolts, they're just like wood screws. But yeah, it was just held in with these 2 little guys, and I actually sourced some proper hardware that I just had laying around in my room, so I'll get that bolted up nice and tight with some Loctite on one side, and I don't think she's going anywhere. Also, look at this real quick. I just put my camera down right here on the back of Miss Parker, and when I put it down, it felt really weird. I was like walking to the front real fast, and I turned around like, no, that felt super weird. Look at this. It's all, can you hear that? Oh look, it's getting wet. It's all water held up between the tarp and my wing and the back of the hatch. Oh my gosh, I should empty that. Look at that. Since we are running bigger hardware, we have to step up our hole size. Now that we got our new holes drilled, right here, this bottom one, and we got the top one drilled out, we can put our coil into place. Maybe I could do it with the camera in my hand and get it into the shot. No way. Oh, did that. Get our bottom one. Should line up, hopefully. Yeah, there she goes. She just needed a little bit of persuasion. Now we'll put some Loctite on that. Get the nut. There you have it. Gosh dang, that looks good in here. That was the last red piece that we had in the engine bay. So now everything is just all matching, and I'm hyped. Dang, that thing looked real nice in there. Stoked. Right next to the catch can. That looks sick. So good. And this side, you guys already know, is my favorite angle, because you got a whole lot going on, and now it looks even better because we got the new alternator and the electric water pump in the deal. And then over here we got the catch can and the new coil, which looks sick. She's coming together, man, slowly but surely. I am only a one-person team, but yeah, we're making progress, man. I'm hyped. Fuel regulator looks sick, catch can looks sick, the new coil looks amazing, obviously the alternator, the water pump, and then when you look down there, you got the ATI super dampener, which is awesome. So moving right along, I actually got a replacement for this radiator pipe right here, because if you guys look at it, you can see that it's just all not nice. And this was just, you know, raw metal when I got it, and I put some paint on it, and it looked good for a while, but now, as you guys can see, it looks pretty rough, and that stuff can't just wipe off. So even if I painted this again, it would still look pretty rough. So I got us this brand new radiator pipe that's bent in the same angle from LMR. You guys can screenshot that right there if you want to get one for your builds. Ooh, right in the water. Nice. So that's just like actually finished in black versus our spray painted one. So I'm thinking, you know, boom, we'll just get that replaced, right? It doesn't go this way. No, it's this way for sure. So we'll just get that replaced. It'll look a lot cleaner, and yeah, it'll make me happy. Got it off. I couldn't get it off for a little bit, but then I got it off because I ended up just cutting the hose down here where it attaches to the radiator, because these hoses were like seized on there. Couldn't get this off, couldn't get this off, couldn't get this one to the radiator off, so I decided to just cut it to remove it. And then when I go pick up a belt at Advanced for the car, I'll just grab another section of radiator hose that I can sacrifice in order to cut two 90-degree angles out of it, and then we'll just put those on to our new radiator pipe. It'll be a lot easier because these things are in there a good 1.5 to 2 inches, and to pull that out and then reuse it onto that, it's just not worth my time. So I'd rather just get 2 new ones, start fresh, and we'll get them put into place, replicate this pipe exactly, and then we'll be able to throw it on. Moving right along, the next thing that we need to get installed onto the car is the Msd Ignition Box. I already have a pretty good idea of where I want to get it mounted. We just need to actually put the time in to do it. So here's what I'm thinking. Inside the car on the passenger side of the transmission tunnel, I think I'm just gonna mount the Msd box right there. I really like how that looks. It's inside the car, it's not in the engine bay. You know, there's no way it can get wet from all the weather and all that. And I just really think it looks good there, you know? Looks pretty sick. Also, all of our wiring, our fuse / relay panel is right here. So all of the wiring and stuff is, you know, over here on the passenger side. So it just makes sense to have the MSD box on this side closer to all of that. Just make our life easier. And again, I think it looks pretty damn sweet just mounted on the floor there. So the kit came with some self tappers. We just got to drill some 1/8" holes to get these started. But I've learned my lesson, you know what I'm saying? A long time ago, I was drilling some holes to install some fasteners for the cables in the back. Drilled my hole, instantly smelt fuel. Turns out it went through the sheet metal that I was trying to drill through to install the little cable bracket, hit a fuel line, and I had a fuel leak that took me forever to fix back then. So yeah, from that I learned, and I'm gonna crawl underneath the car real quick just to double check that there is nothing behind this area before I start drilling holes. And there it is. I just went ahead and got her done. Drilled our 4 holes. I also threw in some rubber grommets that I had in between the actual MSD box and the transmission tunnel. There's a channel behind the MSD box and it's not pushed up against the transmission tunnel there. So yeah, did that. Got all the 4 mounting screws in. So she's in there, boys. What do you think? I think it looks pretty rad, to be honest. It's not in the way of the passenger's legs, and like I said, it's localized in the area that is optimal to us because of all the wiring and stuff. So it will be easy, or easier, or as easy as it can be when it's time to go get everything wired up. Which, that being said, we're getting close. Look, one last look at that. It looks damn good mounted in there. I'm stoked on how that turned out, for real. I am super excited. It has been a journey, to say the least. I didn't really expect for it to go this far, but you know, one thing kind of just led to the other, and here we are. So she's looking good. We still have a lot to do before she's, you know, functional and up and running, but we're closer than ever. So yeah, I'll show you guys one last look at this stuff because it looks great. The electric water pump, you see the dampener down there, our new alternator, which looks killer, and then, you know, obviously our Motion Raceworks catch can looks amazing, and then next to our new coil, it's coming together, guys. I'm hyped. We come over here to our to-do list. We can cross off install coil and install MSD box. So literally the only thing we have left is install the Dizzy, wire ignition, first fire up. Oil change we can do after that. After we make sure that everything is running properly and running the way that it should, you know, then we can do an oil change and we'll know that we'll be 100% good to go, and we can start testing Miss Parker a little bit more serious, like test drives and actually getting into throttle, which is going to be super, super exciting. I cannot wait to see how this car feels and performs after this little engine overhaul. But with all that being said, I'm stoked on the progress we got done today. I'm going to end this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys are stoked with the progress we're making and excited to see Miss Parker fire up for the first time. But that's going to be it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Be easy.